Hello, this video is about doing the British short vowel A sound R. So we have two short vowel A sounds, that is A, like in apple, or R, like in bath. So here is an example of Harry Potter with Hermione doing the R sound.
You're saying it wrong. It's leviosa, not leviosa.
So
You're saying it
is,
wrong.
it is the sound that makes British people sound distinctly British, and that is the R sound. So when do we do the R sound? So it is words ending in these two consonants. So it's not any consonants, it is only two specific ones. So the first one is SS. So ASS would be arse. So for Americans, it will be ass, which means your bottom is the same in British English too, arse. It is in words like grass, class, crass, pass, glass, and brass. There are exceptions, such as mass or lass. These two words in British English have the short vowel A sound, not the short vowel R sound. There is also another exception, and that is bass. Bass has the long vowel A sound, so it doesn't actually have R or A. So this is the same for American English too. We'll say bass in American English too. The next one is SP, so asp, asp, such as grasp or clasp, rasp, hasp. The exception would be when the word is broken into two sounds, so two syllables. There are two syllables in the word aspire, so it's aspire, aspire. So when a word is broken up into two syllables, and the two ending words are not part of each other, then it will not be the asp sound because it needs to be two consonants at the end. Because it's broken into two syllables, it only has the S on the end of the A, so therefore it's only one consonant. All right, the next one would be SK, ask, such as ask, cask, bask, mask, task, and flask. There are no actual exceptions to this word. I don't believe you'll actually find any words in the dictionary where their S and the K are separated from each other to make two syllables. So there are none of those. This will always be R sound when you see S and K. So ask. The next one would be ST. So AST. Asked, asked, such as cast, fast, mast, past, gast, and vast. So the exception again would be if the word is broken up into two syllables, such as pasta. For Americans, this word is actually pronounced as pasta, but for British English we pronounce it pasta. You have another example here, such as astute. So the as has only one consonant at the end of it, so it's astute, astute. The next one is FT. So you've got aft, aft, graft, craft, draft, raft, after. Is there another one? Yep. Shaft. So these words all have R sound at them. There aren't actually any exceptions to this one either. Nearly all words with AFT will be an aft sound, aft. The next one is TH, so the th with your tongue, th. Aft, so you've got arth, like father. So here are lots of words. We've got arth, bath, wrath, path, lath, father, so father. The exception, so there actually are a few exceptions that we use quite frequently, such as gather. Gather is actually just got an A sound. and math. Although in British English, it's actually maths. We put a s at the end of it, maths, and it would be spelt with an s. But I put the American one there for some reason. But it would be maths, not math. Not math, I mean. Another one is this one. So in American English, it would be wrath with an ah sound. In British English, it is not an R. It's actually wrath. Wrath. For some reason, it has an O sound. The other exception is also when the ATH is at the start of the word. So if it's at the start of the word, it will be athlete. In this example, it's athlete. So it will always be ath at the start. Although if it's at the start, it may also be separated, and the A will mean like without. So it will be atheist, which means without God. So atheist. So it can be an atheist, like that, or athe something else. Also in the middle of the word, again, if it's separate syllables, it will not be an R sound, like apathy, apathy. So we've got apathy. It is not R, it's not apathy, apathy. It's apathy, an A sound. So the TH one is not as frequent, but most of the words will have an arth sound, arth sound. The next one is not very frequent. So AFF is in some of the words. So it's really just to be aware that you may hear an R sound in words with AFF, such as staff or wrath. So that actually comes from the word riffraff. So in British English, I don't know if actually this is used in America either. I don't think so. But riffraff means someone who is badly behaved. So someone of low social etiquette. So that would be the riffraff. People dress badly and behave badly. Chaff, if I'm getting this right, I think chaff is the casing on a piece of grain like wheat that they clean off later. You are not going to use that word very often. Draff, I can't remember what draff means now. Oh, draff is the residue, like the waste from beer. So you may hear the word draff beer, I think, but the word draff is to refer to the waste, I think, from beer. So again, you're not going to use that word very frequently. There are more words that you use more frequently where it's an a sound, like gaff. Gaff is used quite commonly, so it's when someone does a someone does a mistake. Often it's something that's mildly funny. Naff means something is not very good, so it's like, oh, that's naff, that's not good. And also, again, it will be an a sound if it's broken up into two syllables. So you've got affect, affect, affect. So this one is not always going to be an R sound, but it may sometimes be an R sound. So you just need to be aware of it. So when you see it, maybe research it and make sure that it is an R sound. But there aren't really many words with AFF, to be honest. There are probably more with it. There are probably more words with AFF, but the AF is separated as two syllables, like affect. The next one is graph. So it's just this word, graph. In British English, this word is fairly frequent. So in British English, we would pronounce it graph. And it's fairly frequent in the word photograph. So we say photograph. But this section of letters is not always going to be pronounced graph. It will often be pronounced graph, like graphic. We say graphic in British English. Also graphite, graphite, or and also if it ends with APH, that's also not the rule. So it's not going to be staff. It will be staph, which is the virus that goes around in or actually the bacteria, isn't it? The bacteria that goes around in hospitals and causes a staph infection. So there's no rule here. It's just the word graph, such as in photograph. So be aware when you see the word graph to find out whether it is graph or graph. So it's normally, I think, graph if it's near the end of the word. If it's near the beginning of the word, it's more likely to be graph, an ah sound, so not an r. So it's more likely to be an r sound at the end of the word, like photograph. So there are more as well, so that's not it. If you see ANT, this can be an R sound, aunt. So in this case, the word is ant, but it may be pronounced aunt. An example here is can't. So in American English, it would be can't. I actually find this word the most frustrating in American English because in British English, and well, in English in general, when we are saying we cannot do something and we use the condensed version here and we say can't, we tend to drop the T sound. So if someone said, can you do this work? And you say, I can't do that right now. I'm saying I can't. And I'm dropping the T. So it's just can't. For Americans, because they have the ah sound, it sounds very much like can. So if I say, can you do that work right now? They say, I can't. I can't do that right now. But it's can. It's actually quite hard to hear that they're doing two different words because it's just the sound of the N that changes, and the sound of the N has only a small change. It's just a n sound instead of a can n. It's a can't n. It's just sort of a cut off N. It's just a very short N sound. But with British English, because you have that R sound, you can very easily identify that it's meant to be can't, not can. So it's can't, can't. But if it's at the end of the sentence, it will be pronounced properly. So it will be pronounced can't. So no, I can't. Another word would be rant. So if you see R at the beginning of ANT, it will be rant. If you see CH at the beginning of it, it's likely to be chant. If you see L before the ANT, it will be lant, such as plant. Okay, so when is it ant? So obviously the word ant itself, the little animal. But if there's a C before it, like can't, can't as in vacant, so Kent, vacant, or tent, tent, like mutant, mutant. So we don't really pronounce it with a strong ah sound like Americans. Americans would be mutant, ant, but we just say mutant, ant, ant. It's very soft, ant. Pant. So you got well, pant meaning to pant. So if you're running very fast, you pant. Anth, like anthem, anthem. And fant, like fantasy, fantasy. So these words would have an ah sound, but the ones at the top will most of the time. So I won't say always, but most of the time have an R sound, and the ones at the bottom will most of the time have an ah sound. There's probably a few exceptions out there that generally no one really ever says anymore. It's just words that have gone out of style. So the next one would be ANC. So many words that have ANC will have an R sound. So ANCE, you've got aunts, such as glance or dance and chance. The other version would be an anch, anch. So ANCH, anch. That would be branch, ranch, and stanch. We got an R sound in there. But it is not always going to be an R sound. So if you end with a Y, it is going to be an A sound. So fancy, ancy, fancy. Or vacancy, vacancy. Also, if it has an I and a D. So we've got Ancid, like rancid, rancid. If it end this one is it's not if it ends with el. It's just it's the only word that really has this form, and that's cancel. There are maybe two other words with, well, no, not maybe. There is two other words with el at the end. That would be spansel. So spansel, you were probably never ever gonna say in your life apart from now, and it is literally just a piece of rope that goes around a livestock animal to stop it from moving very quickly. So it's to hobble it, as the definition would be. So you're never going to use that word. I don't believe they do it anymore. It may even be considered cruel, as it's meant to stop the animal from moving by tying their legs together so they cannot move them very quickly. The other word, which actually does make the R sound, is a chancel. A chancel, if you're very religious, you may use. It is the space around an altar. A chancel. That's it. That's your two other words that you're probably not going to use, but cancel you'll use all the time, and it is an a sound. Cancel. The next one is begins ends with an o. So that would be ancho, such as anchovy, or an or, because we have the r on the end. So we call that an r controlled vowel. So we have an or sound at the end. So that would be anchor, anchor. Although in British English it's pronounced anchor, anchor. So it's more of an sound in British English. I'm not quite sure with Americans actually. It may be anchor in Americans. I really can't remember me. Can't remember right. Remember me. Can't remember right now. Yeah. So, but it will be anchovy in British English and anchor in British English. So it's not an R sound. The next one is our AL. So the AL can be a bit of a complicated one because it does change sound from not only from the American accent, but also it changes sound depending on what is at the end of the L. So if you see an M at the end, it will make an R sound. So it makes the short vowel A sound R from British English, and so does the American one too. The American one will also make an R sound when it ends with an M. So I say balm, and Americans will also say balm. But for the word half, so half, it is an R sound for British English, but for Americans, it's an A sound. So it would be half. So for British English, half, and Americans, AF. But most of the words, it will not be an R sound. It will be an all. So we've got a L at the end. All sound. For Americans, it's a little bit hard for me to do, but it's more like an sound on there. Oh. So for me, it's full, all. For Americans, it'd be fall, an all sound in there. So it's a bit like an or an o sound. All, fall. So pedal, pedal, and then bald, and that'd be bald. Chalk, chalk. And I'll stop trying to do the American accent because I'm not very good at it. Metal, I'll try it. Metal, all. Walk, and then be walk. Small, and then small. I think that one actually might be the same for Americans. I think they say small too, but it may be small or something like that. Talk, and then be talk or something like that. So for us, it's very much an all sound. Full, pedal, bald, chalk. So we've got or in there. Metal, walk, small, talk. So we've got an all sound. So it's not an R sound in most of the words, but if it ends with an M, it will be an all sound, like balm. And if it ends with an, sorry, I said that wrong. If it ends with an M, it will be an R sound, like balm. And if it ends with an F, it will be an R sound, like half, but not in American English. American English, it will only be an R sound with the M at the end. So they say barm or almshouse, but they will not say half, they will say half. Okay, so another time where it will change, and this is for British English again. So for Americans, they will continue to say the same as they will for fall. So the word halt will be halt for them. But I will say ol sound. Halt, halt. Or salt, salt. Malt, malt. So it would be an ol sound. And oh, salt again. I got the same one twice. Whoops. But never mind. So we got halt, salt, and malt. But it may change. So you can see these words together, but they can be 2 syllables. So if they are 2 syllables, they are not going to be the ol sound. They're going to be the all sound, like penalty, penalty. So those are 2 syllables. Penal, T, penalty, penalty. Okay, the next one, like all together, all together. So the all two is 2 syllables. All two, all together. So it's an all sound, just like before here. So fall, pedal. And I have penalty and all together. So if you see ALT and it is not 2 separate syllables, then it would be all sound. Halt, halt. It would be an O sound. Halt, halt, or salt, alt. So that's pretty much all the rules to doing the R sound. So just if you need revision, you just go back obviously and restart the video. Please subscribe to the video. You can also find me on Instagram. Well, not the video, to YouTube, I guess. This is my first video, that's why it's a bit rough. I don't really need to add that in. So thank you and goodbye.